The art of acquisitions. What is up, guys? Zach in here, and in today's video, I want to give you a full presentation on how to close sellers. That is right. If you're actually looking to close sellers and become a master of acquisitions when it comes to wholesaling real estate, in today's video, I'm going to give you a full presentation guide on doing it. If you were to give me $3,000 and I had to talk on this crazy big stage about how to wholesale houses and acquisitions and all these things, this would be the complete presentation guide I would give to you. This is a guide that helps hundreds of thousands of wholesalers close their first deal. And really, this is frankly the information I give to my own staff and my own acquisitions people so they can close millions of dollars of deals in my own wholesaling real estate operations. And of course, this is the information that I give inside my free wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com. Most of my acquisitions presentations and videos are usually an hour or heck, even 2 hours long. So I'm going to give you an abbreviated version of it today because I can't be talking for hours and hours today on this. So if you do want the full guide, just make sure you go to freewholesaling.com and let's break this all down. So when it comes to talking to a seller and closing them, we only need to be focusing on one thing. That is it. Acquisitions is basically the definition of bringing a seller who wants to sell the property all the way to a signed contract. That is it. And so the first step on this is figuring out if this person that wants to sell their house is actually going to be a good wholesaling deal or not. And this process is what we call qualifying the seller. To qualify the seller to make sure if it's even going to be a good wholesaling deal or not, there are four basic questions we have to ask. And if you can think of it as an acronym, it is MCTP. MCTP basically stands for motivation, condition, time frame, and price. So when I'm talking to a motivated seller, and if I want to see if they're going to be a good wholesaling deal or not, all I have to do is just think about that term. Motivation. Hey, Mr. Seller, why are you looking to sell the property? Condition. Hey, Mr. Seller, can you tell me a little bit about the house? The roof, AC, does it need any repairs? Is the house updated or not? Time frame. When are you looking to sell the property, Mr. Seller? And lastly, price. What price are you looking to sell the house for? What you want to make sure here is they are actually answering the right answers to these questions. The most important one is motivation. Why are they looking to sell the property? If the seller is not looking to sell the property for a legitimate reason, it's probably not going to be a good wholesaling deal. C, condition. What does the property look like? How is the house? The house is really clean, nice, and updated. It's probably not going to be a good wholesaling deal. We want some motivation on the house, and we want the house to be a little bit ugly. Time frame, obviously, we want to make sure that the seller wants to sell within the next 60 to 90 days. Anything more, it's probably not the best wholesaling deal. And lastly is price. What price are they looking to sell it? They don't have to be at a low ball figure starting out because we're going to give them a low ball offer, but you want to make sure it's not astronomically sky high. And so when we're talking to the seller and we're trying to get them to accept our offer and we're talking to them, we really need to focus on the conversation here. We want to make sure our tonality is right. The speed of the conversation is good. Heck, if you're meeting them in person, posture is going to be really important and body language. And even though timing of your words are going to be important. So whenever you see me do a live cold call, you see me talk to sellers live, it's not about what I say to the seller half the time. It's how I say it. It's my tonality of it. For example, hey, Mr. Seller, why are you looking to sell the property? Versus, hey, Mr. Seller, why are you looking to sell the house? Do you see, I didn't even look in your eye. I didn't even sound excited about this. I didn't have a smile on my face. Those little things are going to be really important from being elite in acquisitions to just average or regular. The one really important thing you have to understand about how you can beat your competition in acquisitions is just this sentence. Rick has said this a million times. I've said this a million times. The man or woman, the wholesaler that cares the most about helping the seller out and the seller's interests and wants and needs will win out in the deal. It's not always about the price. And if you're learning anything on this YouTube channel, I'm not going to be the highest price out here. I want to get the lowest price so I can make the most money on the deal. And the little thing about getting your lowball offer accepted is just going out here and caring the most about the seller. So we kind of have everything we need to know about this conversation. When the seller says, yes, I want to sell the property, we go through MCTP. And once we figure out it is going to be a good wholesaling deal, what we want to do is get off the phone, say, hey, Mr. Seller, thank you for talking to me and giving me this information. What I'm going to do is call my partner Rick about this and see if this is the right fit or not. And if it is, I'll give you a call back, probably ask you a couple questions in the house and see if there's a good time for me to go and swing by the property. If that be something that's okay with you, Mr. Seller, boom, you're good to go. Remember, you don't want to seem too eager with your motivated seller here. You don't want to seem like, oh my gosh, I just want to go see the house. I can't wait. Let me buy it. Let me buy it. Let me buy it. Because if you're too excited, they're going to be like, what's going on here? And they're going to back out when you're attacking. So you want to be a little more nonchalant, be like, well, if it works, it works. And that approach always helps you land better wholesaling deals. So after you look at the deal, you look at the comps, look at everything, you call the seller back and just ask them when's a good time for me to go over to the property. Now, when we talk about the appointment, it's really important to understand that your goal of the appointment actually isn't to get the deal locked up. Let me repeat myself. The goal of the appointment is not to specifically get the deal locked up. The goal of the appointment is to just get a yes or a no from the seller. You are not trying to close every single appointment you do. And if the seller wants too much for the house, we're not going to write an arbitrary contract for it that just doesn't work for us. That is not how we wholesale houses. That is not what we do here. We write up contracts to deals that we know are really good discounts, so I can make money and I can wholesale it for a good profit. So the goal of the appointment is to get only two answers, a yes or a no. I'm not a big fan of no's, but at least if there's a no, I know it just did not work out at all. And if it's a yes, heck, that's great. That's a good wholesaling deal. The worst thing that can happen on an appointment is if the seller says maybe. That is hands down the worst thing that could ever happen. You're kind of in the friend zone there. You got friend zone, maybe, maybe in the future, I'll go sell the property to you. That is not good. We do not like maybes here. So what we have to do is condition the seller so to make sure that they're okay with a yes or no decision. I'm not here to waste your time or my time on this, and driving 40 minutes to an appointment that seems great, getting our hopes up, and the seller says maybe. They can do whatever they want. Once they give you the maybe, they can string you along for months and months and months and just waste your time and my time. We are not here for the maybe. So this is why before I do every single appointment with acquisitions, even in virtual wholesaling real estate, I always condition the seller. So what is my script for conditioning the seller? Well, here it is. Hey, Mr. Seller, this is Zach. I'm just making sure that we're all good for 4 o'clock tomorrow for me to go buy the property. Oh, yes, we're good for 4 o'clock. Hey, Mr. Seller, I had a quick question. Is it okay if I ask? Okay, perfect. Before I actually go out and see the property, I don't want to waste your time or my time because I know I'm very busy and you're a busy person too. I actually only go by and look at the house once and that's pretty much it. And so before I come by the house tomorrow, I want to make sure you're actually ready for a yes or no decision on selling the house. I hate to go out there, waste your time and my time. So if we can agree on everything tomorrow, are you ready to make a yes or no decision on selling? Leave a pause and see what they say. They say, well, actually there's 3 other people that are coming. I was going to actually talk to their offers and then come home, make a decision and think about it. Or Zach, I'd like to make a decision, but my wife Sheila's actually not going to be there tomorrow. You're going to actually hear their objections and reasons why they'd actually never say yes to your offer in the first place, which is really important. You're not here to waste your time. And it kind of clears the air with the seller. You're setting everything up front. Oh, okay. Well, let me know what's a good time for when you're actually ready to make a decision on selling the house, and I'll go and actually see you then. I cannot stress this enough. This saves a lot of appointments that would have never been deals and actually turns them into deals by conditioning the seller here. Then from there, if they're ready to make a decision, you go meet them the next day at the appointment. Keep it simple. Get there early, go look at the house, walk in, and look at the deal. By this time, you should already know what your ARV is, your comps, your MAO, and if you don't know this stuff, make sure you go below to my free wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com. You should roughly know how much you need to be on the house here. Do you need to be at 150K or below, 140K or below, or even more or less? You should kind of have that pretty much already set in stone. Now, obviously you go to the house and the house has got rats and cockroaches and it's way nastier and needs more repairs than you thought, then we can adjust on the fly here, but roughly just stick to your MAO and know what it is beforehand. Then you can go to the house, there's not much to think about. I gotta be below 140K on this deal, and just have a conversation with the seller while you're there. My best tip for you in acquisitions is just pretend like you're buying a car. Think about it. Whenever you buy a car, you don't pretend like you're this crazy car expert or you're not really fake with it. Hey, can I see the car? Let me know about it. Okay. Can I see the kitchen? Okay. How long have you owned this for? Okay. Just have conversations. At the end, get into the price. Build some rapport and go to your closing line. One really important tip on acquisitions in the closing is when you're talking to the seller, make sure you use future terms with them. Things like, when I buy this house, when I buy this, I'm definitely gonna have to change the flooring here. Subconsciously put in the seller's mind that you are actually gonna be the person buying their house for them. I know that seems a little forward, but I promise you, it just gives you a better chance of closing the wholesaling deal. There's a lot of ways to actually close the seller and do the closing line. And what I'm gonna do right now is just share with you some of my favorites, the ones that you can use right now. Number 1 is what we call the standard lowball. Pretty simple. We're talking to the seller, say, hey, Mr. Seller, this looks like a good house. Would you take $100,000 if I bought it? I can buy this for $100,000, right? Like there's other ways you could say it in different ways, but like just the standard lowball. It's not my favorite method out here, and you'll get deals doing this, but you'll also lose out deals doing this. So it is a method out here you can do. Next is actually my personal favorite lowballing method. It is called the good cop, bad cop. And this is a method where we just blame the bad cop on all the issues and we use a lowball tactic with them. For example, if I'm going to go close you, I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Seller, I've actually been looking at this deal and I looked this over with my partner, Rick, and I was calling him on the phone before I came here. And he told me he wanted to buy this house based on everything for like $100,000. You see how I made a pause there and I just wanted to get their gut reaction to it? They might freak out like, oh my gosh, I could never do 100,000. Get out of here. All this crazy stuff. Like, whoa. Hey, I know. Rick's crazy. He's super cheap. He just mentioned to me this is what he wanted to buy it for. That's actually not a real offer, and that's not his offer at all. It's just letting you know in passing conversation, that's what he wanted to buy the deal for. Me, I'm a lot more reasonable. I get it. I know he wants wants to buy it for really cheap. What price works for you? And then right there, you can negotiate from there and then boom, get the deal closed. There's other ones. You can get the seller's price first. You can do a volley method, which basically, hey, Mr. Seller, what price do you want to sell the house for, or just to get rid of it? They don't say, oh, I don't know. Well, if you did know, what would it be? I personally like the dollar bill method, which is basically like, hey, Mr. Seller, what price do you want to sell the house for, or what works for you? And they say, oh, I have no idea. And I basically give them like a joke, like, well, I mean, Mr. Seller, would it be okay if I bought the house for $1? And they say, of course not. Okay, so I guess you do have a price in mind. I mean, you won't take $1. I mean, would you take $2? $3? No, I had 50,000. Oh, okay. And you can negotiate from there. You'll find out pretty fast that any of those lowball methods will probably work. The good cop, bad cop, the dollar bill method is probably my personal favorite ones, but honestly, see which one works for you. Once you negotiate, just write up a contract. Remember my free wholesaling course, I have free contracts for you to download. Sign it for the price you agree on. Take lots of pictures of the house. Let the seller know what's the process starting forward with this. What we're gonna do is send this over to the title company. They're gonna look at the house, give you a call. They're gonna give you the whole process of everything and let you know when you're gonna get your money. I might have to go out here and bring my partner through just to look at the house once or twice. Remember, that's not us changing the price or anything or an agreement. He just wants to go out here, get estimates, and just look at the house in person. He's really old school. Remember, this is setting the stage for your cash buyer to come through and look at it at least once or twice, and then give them the information to the title company. Boom, you're good to go. And then bang, you came out here, you got the deal locked up. Now it's time for your dispositions process to go sell the deal and make a ton of money. The truth is, this type of information of how to close sellers and doing this is not as complicated as you think. I know people watching this have probably spent $5,000 on an acquisitions seminar training program that wasn't even 5% of the information I gave you today. So if you got any value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe. I promise you, we did have a very condensed version of this. If you watch any recordings of me actually closing real sellers using these methods, me actually going deeper into everything we said before and in this presentation, do me a favor, make sure you go to freewholesaling.com, my free wholesaling course. I'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out.